All right, good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well on this fine Wednesday morning, and it's unique outside today, I guess to say the least. A little slick, a little windy, a little snowy, but hopefully you're all doing well wherever you're watching our Power Up from. Want to thank you for joining us today, even though it is kind of a blustery type day outside there. And I apologize for the lateness of the hour, but we're here and good to be with you. We had a nice little storm blow through last night. Had some rumblings and some lightning and all of that, and now we've got some snow and wind and all the fun stuff there. We had at least one tree down in our neighborhood. Not sure how things are in your neighborhood, but if you're out and about, be careful out there, all that good stuff. We're in 1 John chapter number 5. Please hit that share button real quick so others know that we are live. We are a little bit later than our normal time, and for that I do apologize. 1 John chapter number 5. Let's look down. We're going to look at verse number 16. And so I'll give you a chance to get there. 1 John 5 and verse number 16, coming down right to the end of the chapter. We will have church service tonight, so would encourage you along those lines to be here. That'll be at 6 o'clock, and look forward to seeing you then. All right. Verse 16 says, if any man see his brother sin a sin which is not unto death, he shall ask, and he shall give him life for them that sin not unto death. There is a sin unto death. I do not say that he shall pray for it. Okay, and then let's look at verse number 17. I'll make a few comments here. All unrighteousness is sin, and there is a sin not unto death. Okay, so there's some. What does this exactly mean? There's, I guess, some thought on this, and some on people not sure, I guess, if you look at the commentaries, not sure exactly what this might mean, this sin unto death and sin not unto death. But really, as we kind of have looked at First John here, the entirety of it, I think maybe two observations could be made in regards to the sin not unto death and the sin unto death. Okay, and so let me kind of give you these two. First of all, I would think the sin unto death would be the rejection of Jesus Christ as one's personal Savior, to not trust the Lord, and I think that definitely leads to death, separation from God for all of eternity. Okay, and so I think that may be what is being referenced here, this sin unto death. And now the sin that's not unto death. And I want to be careful about this too, because I don't want to give people a false sense of a license to sin. But a sin that may be not unto death is, even after our salvation. Okay, there's and maybe we can go a couple ways with this. There is an assurance of salvation that we might struggle with a little bit. Okay, here's the result. Our salvation is secure in Jesus Christ. And so although we may struggle with our assurance, that does not mean that we are unsaved. Okay, it just means that, man, we are struggling because of maybe how we're living. It doesn't mean that we're unsaved. We've trusted Christ, our salvation is secure in him. And then secondly, in regards to maybe this sin that's not unto death, is even after salvation, unfortunately, we do have a propensity to sin. And I don't think there's a desire to sin, so much so, but there may be, not a maybe, there is a reality of we are not perfect people, and that we do sin from time to time. That is not a sin unto death, okay, because we have accepted Christ as our personal Savior. And so I hope you can note the difference there in that. And so that's kind of the thoughts that I would pull from this passage. If any man see a brother, okay, that is a fellow believer, and I think that's indicating that, hey, there's that sin that's not unto death. We may sin, but that doesn't mean we lose our salvation. Now, as we have noted throughout the book of John, because of our sin sometimes, because of our sin sometimes, we may place a question mark on our life in the eyes of others. Remember, Uh, Nobody can know your heart. Man sees the outward appearance, God sees the heart. So your salvation ultimately rests between you and the Lord. Now, I want to put, if I can, my best foot forward in regards to my testimony for Jesus Christ, and I want people to know that I know Christ as my personal Savior. And we've said this before. When it is my turn to be laying in that casket, I don't want my family to think, "Oh man, did he really trust Christ? I just don't know." And so that's a reason for the testimony. That's one of the reasons for living a life that is free of sin and living in righteousness and so on. And then it says, there is a sin unto death. I do not say that he shall pray for it. Okay? There is a sin unto death. I think that would be the rejection of Jesus Christ and that choosing of separation from God and choosing really of an eternity in hell. Now, verse 17, as we've already read, all unrighteousness is sin. Okay? Or you could go to James. Therefore, to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. To not live righteously is sin. Romans, man, I mention this often. Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? The answer being, God forbid. All unrighteousness is sin, and there is a sin not unto death. Okay, and so when we live a life of unrighteousness, that is sin. That doesn't mean we lose our salvation again. Okay, and that's really what John has been talking about and communicating throughout the book of First John here. Now let's look at verse number 18. We know that whosoever is born of God sinneth not. Okay, there is a testimony of righteousness for the believer, and the challenge for me and for you is to have that testimony of righteousness. And do we have it? Not that we're perfect, okay, but we desire that testimony of righteousness. We desire to live a life free of sin, okay? But he that is begotten of God keepeth himself, and that wicked one toucheth him not. Okay? Who is the one that is begotten of God? We know that John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth him should not perish but have everlasting life. And so we know that, okay? And that being Jesus, but also we have been begotten of God. We've been bought and purchased by Jesus Christ. And so there is that challenge for us to keep ourselves, to protect ourselves, to guard against the wiles of the devil. And we could go to Ephesians chapter 6, the armor of God. The reason for that, because the enemy is great. We battle the world, the flesh, the devil. We know that as well. And so we've got to be guarding ourselves. One that belongs to God guards their heart, keeps their heart, keeps themselves. And man, there's a lot I think that could fall underneath that umbrella of keeping ourselves. Okay, that means we are avoiding temptation, places of temptation. We're surrounding ourselves with people that inspire us to do right, people that would encourage us to live righteously. And so there's a lot underneath that umbrella. That doesn't mean that we aren't in the world seeking to reach the world. Okay, we've got to be doing that. It does not mean that we are not in the world trying to impact the world for the cause of Christ by our testimony, but we've got to be very careful about putting ourselves in situations where we will be encouraged to do wrong, that we will be tempted to do wrong at the same time as well. And so we note here in verse number 18 that we must keep ourselves, and that wicked one toucheth him not. Okay, and that in regards to the wicked one touching us not putting ourselves in a position to where we will fail. Okay, and so there's a lot of different places we could go with that, but just know, hey, that sin that does so easily beset you, that temptation that you struggle with a lot, don't put yourself in a position to fall to that. Okay, and let's look at verse number 19, and then we'll be done for the day, I think. Verse 19, and we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. Okay, here, once again, we see that confidence. We see that assurance of salvation. And we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. If in your life, there is a desire to live for Jesus Christ, there is a desire for righteous living, that is an evidence of your salvation. That's an evidence that you believe. And so I think that's very important for each and every one of us here to consider your salvation. Do you have that desire to live for the Lord? After salvation, the first step of obedience is baptism. And Romans tells us this, that we're buried in the likeness of his death, raised to walk in newness of life. Man, there's a new way we're to think. There's a new way that we are to live and to go and so on. And so I want to encourage you, hey, let's live righteously. Let's live for Jesus with confidence, knowing that Jesus is our personal Savior. Okay, we're going to end with that. We'll finish out 1 John chapter 5 on Monday next week. We will not be having Power Up tomorrow or Friday. I will be heading to Florida to pick my mom up and turn around and come right back. So it's going to be a long couple days. Ask for your prayers for me as I travel. And it's going to be a quick trip. So pray for safety for us, the weather, alertness, all that good stuff there. Okay. And also for the vehicle to run good as well. So no Power Up Thursday, Friday. We'll be back at it Monday. Want to encourage you, if you want to throw out a suggestion for us to study here after we conclude 1 John, hey, put that in the comments, message me, however you would like to communicate, that would be great. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. Brian and Cindy, good morning to you. Hope that you are enjoying Myrtle Beach. Man, you're missing out on some ice and snow up here, some windy weather, all that good stuff. But hope you're having a great time at Myrtle Beach. Ingrid, good morning to you. Love you. Have a great day. Jake, good morning to you. Hope that you are doing well this morning on your drive, and praying for you. Charlie and Marcia, good morning to you both as well. Have an awesome day. And Mom, have a great day as well. Thank you for your prayers as we travel down to Florida. And have a great day there. All right, Lord bless you all. Have a wonderful day. Be safe out there in all that you do. We will have services tonight, 6 o'clock. Would encourage you, be safe in your travels. I think this winter storm, I think, is supposed to go to about 7 o'clock tonight is what they're saying. So just be careful, be wise. We'll have services, but be careful in your travels if you're going to make it this way, okay? Lord bless you all. Have a wonderful day.